And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. Welcome. Welcome to the Reasonably Fine Art Talk. Now, the great Betty Sue, she headed back to, oh no, she's flying out to Portland, Oregon for a show in Eugene tonight. But her flight was at 6 a.m., ladies and gentlemen. And so I got up rather early and drove her to the airport and then home, and then I've taken a nap. But now we are raring to go, and we have a very interesting day today. We have my good friend from Phillips Exeter Academy many years ago, filmmaker friend, one of the smartest individuals I know, one of the kindest individuals I know, the great Whit Wales. Hi, Whit.
Well, hey, Charlie, I'm so glad you were able to take a nap, because I think this is going to be a very tiring event, and I'm glad you're well rested and prepared for it.
I am so well rested and so prepared for it. Now, Whit, you made a 22-minute film about me a couple of years ago, and we're going to show that film today. But before we get into that, I just wanted to ask you a little about what your journey has been. My journey has been that I graduated from Exeter, then I took a year to be a sign painter in Ludlow, Vermont, and then I went to college, and then I waited for someone to hire me, and no one ever did, and so I ended up doing what I do. What's your journey been?
Well, goodness gracious, you're so kind to ask. You know, I was very involved in theater with B. Rodney Marriott, who many people at the school may remember, and I became very focused on theater and acting and directing, and I went to Amherst College and studied theater there, and then I went to graduate school and got an MFA at Southern Methodist University. It was a wonderful program, and then I worked as a performer, as an actor in regional theaters in Louisville and Pittsburgh, and I also at that same time started a theater working with kids on from different socioeconomic areas in Louisville, Kentucky, and creating innovative representations of the classics. And I did that for a number of summers, and in so doing, I met a wonderful woman who became my wife, and I inherited a 3-year-old son in the process. And I began to think, like, I believe if I'm starting a family, and I am, that I'd best have more of a foundation financially. And so we came up to New England, and I taught at a small boarding school for 20 years.
Which school was that?
A school called Cushing Academy in Ashburnham, Massachusetts, and a lovely village, lovely place to raise children. And I'm always fond of saying I have 4 children that I know of, and they are beautiful people. And eventually, when the marriage did not last, sadly, and when the younger of the upper division of children graduated, so did I. And you know, when I arrived at this school, some child came to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Wales, do we have video?" And I said, "I don't know, but if we don't, let's do." And we didn't, and then we did. And so that became a part of my life. And so when I started this next chapter, goodness gracious, I began to help get my kids through school with filming weddings, and then eventually I got into marketing films, and just I became entranced by telling stories, and began telling stories for schools, began telling stories for nonprofit organizations, and here I am today with my own creation that is now about 5 years old, and that's Endeavor Films.
And do you find this? It sounds to me like you're rather than being an auteur, being a filmmaker for the sake of your personal vision, you are a filmmaker in service to others' missions. Is that?
I think that's I think that's absolutely right. Our mission is to understand and show the best of who people are and what they do. And that to me is just, I'm going to do that the rest of my life, one way or the other. You know,
Fascinating.
yeah.
Well, and before we show the film, what on earth possessed you to want to tell the story of one day in the life of a fairly obscure representational artist in Bellows Falls, Vermont?
Well, that's a very good question, and I, you know, I have no real answer for it other than, you know, the woman that that I've been seeing for a long time and love still very deeply lives up in Burlington, Vermont, and so I would make a weekly trip up to that area, and lo and behold, I would pass Bellows Falls on my way up, and I thought to myself, you know who lives in Bellows Falls? Charlie Hunter lives in Bellows Falls, and I want to stop by and see him. And that's what I did, Charlie, as you may recall. And we had this lovely time, and I was just so, I mean, I find you to be just such a wonderful, generous, creative soul. And we had such a good time reconnecting. I found myself with an opportunity to create a bonding experience for the crew at Endeavor.
Mm.
And I said, let's go set this up. Let's go visit my good friend Charlie. And I don't think you'll be disappointed. And we weren't. And I don't think we have been with the film that we were able to create.
All right. Well, with that introduction, why don't we go to that movie? I'm going to make our heads small and then we're going to make our heads go away.
All right. Very good.
I think it may be like 2 seconds into the movie, but what the hell? We're just going to get it going now.
Very good.
Roll.
All right. See you on the other side. Yep. All right.
The other side.
Well, I suck at writing and I suck at music, so here I'm doing what I can do. I remember the exact moment I fell in love with trains. Half a league onward, stormed at with shot and shell, while horse and hero fell, they that had fought so well. All that was left of 600. I mean, I wouldn't take Brattleboro if you gave it to me on a stick. I mean, I like Brattleboro just fine, but it's not my cup of tea. You know, you gotta live somewhere, and I'd rather live here with a bunch of outliers than in some sort of mainstream place with crappy traffic. Oh, but I'm supposed to be looking at the camera, aren't I? I can do whatever I want? Okay. I know. Whoa. Suzanne takes you down to a place by the river. Okay, breakfast time. Delicious. Look at that. Smells like burned tires. When we wake up in the morning, we're in a foul mood. But then we get to eat delicious food. Delicious food. Delicious food. It tastes so good. It tastes so good. And you just sing it for as long as the food eating ritual takes place. Yes, yes. New York has been invaded by beavers. Because this looks like dog shit. Sometimes it looks like cat shit, sometimes like horse shit. Today looks like dog shit. I come here every morning because they've got the New York Times, they've got the Brattleboro Reformer. The food's wonderful. You get to be surrounded by beauty that you don't have to maintain. It's just, it's joyful, you know? I mean, it's unpretentious. Bye, Laura. Bye, Sharon.
Yeah.
Right.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Hey, Greta. This is Greta. Greta rocks.
Here you go.
Thanks. I think Harlow's and Cafe Loco is kind of emblematic of Bellows Falls because it's quirky and it's individualistic. Bellows Falls was not an artist town. But it's not pretentious artistic pursuit. It's everybody's covered in cat hair. You go up to Montreal, they have worse weather than we do, and everybody looks fabulous. You come here, everybody looks like hell. We do not like hugging. When I hug, it's kind of a modified Heimlich maneuver. But I mean, I grew up in New England. I don't have any other perspective. That may be how people are in East Tennessee. I think they're more friendly. They're more friendly in East Tennessee, but they're also more likely to kill you. You've got a mix of people who are long time from here. You've got a bunch of interesting people who have come here. No one's thinking that what used to be here is going to come back. Come back in, don't pay any attention to these sons of bitches. No one thinks that the paper mills are coming back. Bellows Falls is over that. I remember when I lived in Northampton, there was a cartoon that said, Northampton, Greenwich Village gone rural. And there was a picture of a overall wearing farmer and a black woman in cat's eye glasses. And the black woman was saying, want to go to the tractor pull? And the farmer's saying, no, I thought I'd go down to the Pleasant Street Cinema and catch Diva again. I mean, Bellows Falls is kind of like that.
Happy birthday tomorrow. I won't see you.
Thank you very much.
And the grits were awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, we're going to go to the studio. We're going to fuck shit up. In the words of my friend Patrick Lee, our job as artists is to learn to accurately render things and then fuck shit up. Blah, 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 blah. You people are beautiful. What you're doing is beautiful. The analogy I've used often when teaching is Townes Van Zant's song, Pancho and Lefty. It says, living on the road, my friend, was going to make you free and clean, but now you wear your skin like iron and your breath's as hard as kerosene. And what does that literally mean? You know, hard as kerosene. But you know exactly what he means. And that, I would aspire to paint, to have a painting even approach that level of story truth. Oh God, that was eloquent. Fuck. I remembered it since I was 9 or 10. I'm not gonna forget it in the next 2 minutes. It was late afternoon and the sun was the golden hour, you know, and the little freight train came by. I read the sides of the boxcars. There's one that said Nickel Plate Road, and the lettering was just fantastic. The beauty of the light on this kind of forgotten object that was still in motion, it just was profound to me. And I was hooked on trains. My theory is all right-thinking 2-year-olds love trains, and then people lose touch with their what steered them right about childhood, they forget. And trains are my right object, you know. Part of why I like trains so much is graphically, they rock. Nice horizontals cutting through the land. Also a fascination with just decrepitude and rust, passage of time. It's important shit.
Why?
Because as James Thurber wrote, the claw of the sea puss gets us all in the end. What's more important? Human endeavor is about attempting to literally make one's mark in the time that one has. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the most endearing thing about humans, is that we're gonna fail. But yet we try. The one particular skill set I have allows me to look at something and generally do a decent painting of it in a couple of hours. That in and of itself is of limited interest. It's like a dog being able to dance on its hind legs. If one accepts that art is about trying to break through the inherent loneliness of existence, of kind of sharing what it feels like to be alive, then how do you make an image that transcends the literal aspect of it? I think it's a worthwhile thing to be thinking about. Rather than working from a preconceived image, I'm just making these marks that I find graphically interesting. And then from that, once this dries, I can kind of use it, hopefully, as an armature, an abstract collection of shapes, and making it a kind of truthy landscape, or a somewhat truthful space. Where's that gonna go? Is it gonna end up being a portrait of South Bend, Indiana? Or is it bullshit? I have no idea at this point. What? Someone would like a little more lap time. I'm sorry. My truth is if there's a certain level of destruction, if there's a certain level of a certain point of kind of no return, it feels, for me, disrespectful to document it. Once a car is like really sinking into the earth, it's like let it rust in peace, you know, let it have its last time by itself.
Well, I guess what I'm hearing though is the unvanquished.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, you're talking about things that are completely destroyed, annihilated.
Yeah.
A post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, I don't want to paint
You
those.
don't want to paint those.
No.
But rather, your store, a gas station, your train, there's a certain level of spirit that endures and prevails that is unvanquished.
Yes, the nobility. Honor the Light Brigade. Honor the charge they made. Yeah. That's about all I remember of Charge of the Light Brigade. It's all it was. Half a league onward. Stormed at with shot and shell. While horse and hero fell. They that had fought so well. All that was left of 600. Yeah. So yeah, I like things that have a modicum of dignity. Then I like when they slide off your lap and fall on the floor. Well, I'd rather not be gimpy, you know. It was not, I didn't wake up one morning and say, gosh, I would really like the additional challenge of being, of having limited movement. But everybody I know who's 60 has some problem or other. And if I've got this problem that I walk funny and can't really use my right hand, big whoop. What I'm going through doesn't seem to me to be any different than what anybody else goes through. There's nothing profound about it. Right, not enough time, we're not gonna get it all done. Hey, buddy. Yeah, but that's part of the game too. I mean, I'm still hoping for immortality, but currently the signs aren't looking terribly positive. But I would prefer to be able to have an unlimited amount of time to get to be really good at painting and being a human being, but you know, we get as much time as we get. But we all do, pretty much. Yes, buddy. Who says I'm right? I may be just full of shit. I don't like working from photographs. I will, but I don't like it. I'm just making these marks that I find graphically interesting, and then from that, once this dries, I can kind of use it, hopefully, as an armature. If my hand shakes at all, this evokes structure, but it's not a structure at this point. It's also not really a painting at this point, but it's a something. I'm not trying to make this painting at this point about Lola's in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. I'm trying to make it about anybody who stood in front of an enigmatic, ghostly building. Machine tool industry of Springfield, Vermont has moved on. So how is Springfield, Vermont going to reinvent itself now? International Paper was founded in Bellows Falls. It has long since headed out. How is Bellows Falls going to reinvent itself now? That is what these paintings do touch on. Now what? Now can we go ride trains?
Pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
Here's Bob's train all put together, ready for the passengers. In the rear is the observation car. Mr. Watson asks the conductor to keep an eye on Bob because this is his first train trip alone. You're on your own now, he says. The huge locomotive sets the train in motion, slowly at first.
Oh, look out, here she comes, she's coming. Look out, there she goes, she's gone, streaming straight through Texas like a mad dog cyclone, big and red and silver. She don't make no smoke. She's a mad dog, streamlined, come to show the folks. I admire writing like that. Townes Van Zandt, or John Prine, or Fred J. Eaglesmith. I don't quite know how Franz Kline did what he did, but I've read enough that I have an idea of it. I don't really want to learn more about it. I prefer not, well, let the mystery be, you know? And I can do that more easily with music than I can with art, because I know more of the tricks with art. Plein air painting just means painting outside. It's part of the American love of putting foreign names on things that it is afraid it is kind of déclassé otherwise. See, déclassé. It's kind of had a rebirth in the last 10 years in the US. And this year, managed to finally combine my two loves of trains and painting. And we did a thing called en train air. A painter friend of mine, Larry Moore, wanted to see if it was possible to take a train, just go one stop down the line for like a week, each day moving one stop further down, painting in each of those little towns. Concurrently, I was really involved with efforts to save one particular American train, the Southwest Chief, which is the daily Amtrak train between Chicago and Los Angeles. So, in April of this year, me and 5 other plein air painters boarded the train in Chicago. So we painted in La Junta for a day. We were greeted by the mayor when we got off, because the word of our coming had spread. We all got little pens with a level on them. It said, "You're on the level in La Junta." Trinidad, Colorado is an old mining town that now survives on marijuana. And we went one stop down the line to Raton, New Mexico. These guys were like saying, look, we were coal miners, and the coal mines aren't coming back. And we know that the future of this town is going to be through the arts. After Trinidad, Raton, to Las Vegas, New Mexico. Got on the train, went one stop down the line to Lamy, New Mexico, and then we had a pop-up show. It is painting for something greater than oneself. It's not just using the paint because it's fun to go painting. It's using the power of the arts as an economic driver. It's helping efforts for rail advocacy. And it's kind of almost ambassadorial, you know, getting parts of the country that the current red-blue divide, getting parts of the country to talking to one another again. Really what I need to do for a minute is step back and go, I came to Bellows Falls because I was really interested in helping make an arts community as opposed to getting accepted by a pre-existing one. Don't follow the crowd. What the hell's the point of that? Build your own thing. It's a much better deal for you. It's the selfish thing. And it also gives other people an opportunity, and it's an example for other people that they too should create their own reality as opposed to trying to, you know, get the hipsters to believe in you. Looking okay over there, it's looking okay over there. This looks sophomoric. Now they're starting to whisper like, he's not getting that right. That's not very good at all. I'm still gonna fuck up the railroad tracks, trust me. Oh, fuck! That did not bring me joy. What remains to be done is to learn how to properly load a squeegee, obviously. Everything. I mean, you know, you're just gonna keep doing what you do until you keel over. You're gonna boogie, yogi, yogi till you just can't boogie no more. Everyone has their right objects. Just getting better at what you do. And, you know, and being nice to people. I like being nice to people. That sounds bogus.
All right.
You're done asking questions? No, I'm not done painting. All right.
Let's see here.
See, that's getting interesting.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
We're cutting.
Oh, wow.
Get some.
Yeah, Whit's a Philistine, but the crew appreciates. Gilding the lily. Blah, 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 blah. You people are beautiful. What you're doing is beautiful. A kind of truthy landscape or a somewhat truthful space. The claw of the sea puss gets us all in the end. Attempting to literally make one's mark in the time that one has. We're going to fail, but yet we try.
All right, Whit, you better unmute yourself because you got some splaining to do.
All right.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's a darn good little movie. Not so much because it's about me, though I like that part too. But it's a really successful little journey. I mean, the way all that stuff ties in together. There's interesting sound design. It's damn good.
Well, thank you, Charlie. Thank
I am
you.
proud to be the the subject of that. You know.
Well, you were a large part of its success. I'm not confused, and it was a great pleasure and privilege to spend time with you filming it.
Well, we've got some comments coming in, and we're just gonna put them right on just very quickly, just so I don't have to be the blatherer in chief here. Great film, very nice. Wow. Good the second time around as well. Nice film. Very cool. What a wonderful film. Jaw-droppingly beautiful film. Inspirational. There you go. I have to watch a couple more. Yes, you do. And send me money each time. And Whit, can you tell us about the vintage films that ran in the background, constantly interrupting Charlie?
Well,
Yes.
we needed something to interrupt you, Charlie. And so I no, this is just discovered, film on the internet that really spoke to a time gone by, and obviously we stumbled onto the 600, and as that being a metaphor for the world of manufacturing and this town Bellows Falls, and maybe at the end this idea that the that we all go to this place, that we all become this footage and memories of people that are found and discovered, and part of this tapestry that that informs informs us in the present moment.
Right. Well, one of the things that it's kind of inside baseball, and I don't know if you were aware of it, but that whole thing about Bob, Mr. Watson asked the conductor to keep an eye on Bob. That is the predecessor of the train that we were trying to save, of the Southwest Chief. That's the old Santa Fe Super Chief. And the station at the end where Bob gets off, where Bob is met by his uncle, is Lamy, New Mexico, which was the station where we painted before doing Santa Fe. So I don't know if you were aware. Were you aware of that level of time?
I wasn't when we stumbled onto it, and not at all. But that's beautiful. I love it.
It's really beautiful. The one thing that's wrong is in that Santa Fe promo film, the filmmakers, Bob has come from Chicago and he gets off in Lamy, and then the train heads off for LA, except it's actually a picture of the train heading back to Chicago. It's the eastbound, but no one's going to know that. The only other objection I have to the film is I am quoting Townes Van Zandt. I am saying I'm quoting Guy Clark. I'm saying the verse about the train coming. Look out, here she comes, she's coming. Look out, there she goes, she's gone. And then you cut to me saying Townes Van Zandt, so it sounds like I am I don't know my Texas singer songwriters.
Yeah.
That's
sorry. Sorry.
Where did you get the music? Because the music, I think, works so well because it's got that elegiac, very sad cello refrain, and then you go into, when I'm setting up the French easel, that kind of chicka-boom music. Is that just stock music that's lying around?
It is. It's a library that we use, and so we just kind of dug down deep and really thought about what kind of palette we wanted to have, and so that's how that came together. Yeah.
It's just extraordinary, being the person. I mean, I was there for all the footage involving me, obviously, and I'm familiar with a bunch of the like Industry on Parade and all those shows that are on the internet, and seeing how the tapestry that you created, and in a way, it's very analogous to what we do, because the audience for Reasonably Fine Art Talks is painters, of course. But it's very analogous to what we do in painting, of taking a literal, staring at something literal, and then revising it through our eyes into something that's very different from the nominative reality. Is that the thing that keeps you going in the morning? Is it sharing? What moves you to tell stories this way?
I think that one thing that I was very struck by during our day together was you have both. I mean, you have this wonderful practical side, like we're going to roll up our sleeves and we're going to see what's here. And so there's that that we got to assemble the paint. We've got to put everything before us. And then it is about allowing an intuitive engagement to take place. And I would say, in terms of the editing process, that's it's no different. It's no different. It is a quiet place. It is a lonely place. It is a place that requires just a listening, a real listening, and pushing everything else aside. And I feel that is the meditative place that I associate with painting, and that type of creation. And I don't know if that resonates with you or not.
That totally resonates. And I think it resonates probably with 99% of the audience, because, and that is one of the wonders of painting is the zone where the sense of self goes away, and you're there, but you're not there. And it's funny, when the painting that I did down at the train station for you guys, I'm talking during all of that, but it's those are almost scripts. I mean, I'm certainly aware of what I'm saying, but I'm not really going to probably be breaking any new ground, because there's an entire other part of my brain that was just thinking about, am I getting that shape right? Am I getting that value correct? And that probably is true of you in the editing room also. And do you have there's a time when you get into the zone and you're in there and you can be interacting with other people, but you are in the zone. But then there's a time you come out of the zone and you're just out of it. You can't climb back into it. And that's when you go get coffee,
Yeah. And I think part of the challenge for me personally is feeling like I've got to manage things in terms of as an entrepreneur. And that takes me far away from the zone. And I think for me to understand and show the best of who people are, it's really about the people. And that I think is what reconnects me, that's what brings me back to the zone, is just watching people talk.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, gosh, Charlie, you have a lot to say.
I do have a lot to say. Only some of it worthwhile, though. But
No, I see. Listen, I feel like you get into the zone as you speak, as you communicate, and that's part of the thrill and beauty and of you that I so appreciate. And also what I appreciate is the real sense of purpose that you seek out. Like, you're not just content with, okay, let's just see where this takes us, but you're also driven by a sense of intellectual clarity and, again, purpose, mission.
Yeah. Okay. So as two Exes, as two Exeter alums, that seems like something that Exeter sort of drove into our craniums at an early age, was that that any endeavor that you do, and it's interesting that your film company is called Endeavor Films, just by the way. But any endeavor that we do have a purpose to it. Instead of Exeter was not a place where sort of abstract, where things that didn't lead to something were celebrated. Things kind of you had these assignments and you had to get them done, and there was a high bar to meet. And if you were just shilly-shallying around, you would get called on it. Do you think that is a similar, or do you think we make sense to one another because we both had that sort of background at an early age?
Well, I guess my feeling is that maybe Exeter attracts a certain kind of individual, that it's as much nature as it is nurture. But I would, and I would definitely say that it is the experience that we had that is a tie that binds.
Right.
But I don't think we're necessarily the quintessential output of the institution. And
That's true, but we are there are a bunch of interesting sort of eccentric creatives that have come out of Exeter as well as the upper level bureaucrats that we really excel at creating. But now, Whit, what's next for Endeavor Films? I mean, I really think you're a pretty extraordinary filmmaker. Do you have any impulses to try to do to do fictional films as opposed to nonfiction filmmaking?
well, I think that's in me, and I'm terrifically interested. You have trains. I have the story of Heavier Than Air Flight, and the story of the Wright family, and I think that's within me to create in the next 12, 18 months a stage version of that, and then to pursue that in terms of film. But I think there's something that draws me still to be in service of the voice of others, and I really like this idea of focusing in on an individual and spending a day and having that be where everything comes together, and it's just all compressed. And obviously we plan, we're intentional, we gather things together, but I like that, and I don't. I think that's where I see myself in the short term. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, and as a representational artist, I sometimes am asked, don't I want to explore, or the fact that I work primarily monochromatically in the field, people will say, well, don't you want to explore color? And my response to that is, when I feel like when I've stopped learning, I haven't figured out everything about this one color yet, let alone an abstract world, let alone a conceptual art world. I'm still fascinated with what's in front of me. I think we're very lucky in that we have, as I say several times in that movie, we have right objects. We have things that resonate with us and allow us to express our creativity in over and over again in ways that never get boring, at least to us.
Well, and as I think you also said, there's not enough time. There's never enough time.
Yep. Well, Whit, I think with that, why don't we say we don't have any more time today?
Sadly.
Sadly, but I would love it if you do move forward with this Wright Brothers thing. Let's do another Reasonably Fine Art Talk with a kind of work in progress when that is coming down.
I love that. It's sort of an accountability podcast, really.
Absolutely. You got it. I'm on your ass now, Whit. I'm on your ass. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Whit.
Charlie, so great to see you. You too, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Good to see you. Bye-bye.